Hello. Hello. Welcome. So today we are talking about energy management. And as you guys are coming in, please just say hello or give this post a like just so that I know you're there. And if you guys have any questions about this, just put them in as well so that I'm kind of seeing them as we go. So today we're talking about energy management. Energy management is like time management, but for your energy. And so in a moment here, I'm going to share a document with you guys just about what I mean by that. So often I hear from clients or women or followers and whatnot about like one of the main goals that I hear about is wanting to increase energy, which is wonderful. I love that as a goal. Or often I'm hearing like, I'm just so exhausted. I have nothing left for myself because I'm giving to everyone else. And so sometimes that is truly an issue of like that person has their energy is truly depleted or their sleep is truly poor. But honestly, more often than not, it is actually an energy management issue. So what I mean by that is there's a way, or there are some ways in which we can manage and preserve our energy so that we're not always feeling like we have nothing left. And so if you can relate to that, please just post below and let me know. And I'm just going to share my screen with you here. I'm outside today. So energy management. And so these are things, energy management, I'm going to talk a little bit about time management because the two things are linked. But these are often the things that I hear that are triggers for me to think there might be an energy management sort of misalignment at play here. I can't find the time or I don't use my time correctly. I fall down dead at the end of the day, but I get that badge of honor for, being busy and productive all day. I get to the end of the week and I was so busy. Sometimes I have nothing to show for it and there never seems to be enough time. So some of these time management can help with some of these pieces. Energy management can help with all of these pieces. And when you have energy drain, it feels like you've spent an entire day in class, at work, in jury duty, in meetings, and then you feel like you're so drained from doing nothing that all you have the energy left for is to drink a bottle of wine and watch TV. We've all been there. So first, looking at time management, look at how long do your tasks actually take, because if our tasks or our activities are taking longer than necessary, particularly the draining ones, then it's going to be more draining than if we could get them done more efficiently. Do they take an arbitrary amount of time? So there's very, for most of us, for lots of us, the workday is 8 hours. It's kind of arbitrary. I don't know if it comes from like farming or what, but just start to revisit like how long tasks actually take you, because if you don't need to be at work or at the task for 8 hours or 10 hours or whatever, just start to ask those questions. What evidence do you have about how long your tasks actually take? So if you have a task that you can actually, if you commit yourself to it and it takes a lot less time, then you don't have to schedule so much time for it. If you have a task that's constantly taking way more time than you schedule for it, then you have to start scheduling more time for it so that you don't feel like you're constantly running out of time. I highly recommend time chunking. I've done lives on that before. That's like a whole other training. And then how focused are you? Multitasking is like, especially for women, kind of touted as a positive thing or a skill. But I've really gotten away from it. So are you actually good at multitasking, or are you actually good at doing a little bit of a bunch of things at once, or just switching tasks? Mode switching or task switching can be your greatest time waster, honestly. There are really obvious time wasters like driving and watching TV and stuff, but there are less obvious ones like task switching or mode switching, because each task takes energy. It takes a different amount of energy. So if you're doing a creative task, like you are writing a document or you are designing something, that is a different mindset than a tactical task, like putting together like a piece of furniture or a box, or like doing something with your hands, and switching between them every time we do that, it takes energy. And it takes more energy the more often we do it, because we have to switch. So if we can streamline our tasking or types of tasking, it actually saves energy, because our mind is not constantly switching back and forth. It's like switching the tabs in your brain, which literally is a energy waster as well, you know, going between Facebook and emails and phone calls, and each of those things takes different energy. And if you could do each of them in a specific amount of time rather than being available for all of them all the time, it saves a lot of energy. So try to minimize mode or task switching, which actually helps us to be way more productive and saves a lot more energy. So time chunking, which is blocking off chunks of time for a task and then ending the task when the time is done. And then similar task chunking, like I just mentioned. So all your creative tasks happen on one day or in one chunk of time. All of your business tasks happen at this time. All of your computer tasks happen at this time. Garden tasks happen at this time. Like, you can do it in life and at work, right? And I'm just going to see if there's any questions here. Something else to start to notice and schedule is some strategic downtime. So where are the times in the day when you need to rest and recharge or transition energies? So is it immediately upon waking up? Is it in the middle of the day? Is it when you are between work and home? What feels really depleting for you? I'll just share personally. I didn't even know that this was so possible until I did it and put it into practice. Like, I just thought that I was constantly tired at the end of the day because that's just the way I was, or I didn't sleep enough, or I was like doing something wrong. But I actually started to learn tasks that actually were depleting and where I needed to recharge and transition. So, or for example, we moved here, and my daughter's daycare was about 20-25 minutes away. So anyone who commutes knows that takes a lot of energy. Like, I would be feeling really good at the end of my work day, totally good, and then I would have to do that drive, and then I would get home from picking her up and I was just dead. And so I know that that's an energy suck for me. And so that's a time when I need a minute to transition. Same with first thing in the morning. I'm happy to get up and work out, but I need a little transition energy, or I'm happy to get up and be like a parent. But I need a little transition between waking up and that. So you have to start to identify activities that actually give you your energy back. These can be called anchor actions or restorative activities. And so these can be things like breath work, meditation, power naps, reading for pleasure, leisure walking alone or with a pet, playing with your kids, working out, yoga. They're not going to be the same for all of us. Like, working out, is restorative for me in a different way, of course, than meditation is. But for some people, it's really not. For some people, playing with their kids is restorative and gives them energy back, and for some people it's really not. So you have to know what activities actually give you energy back, and in a minute I'm going to talk about things that are not restorative activities. So yes, reading a book will feel like a waste of time to you at first, especially if you learned that we don't do that during the day. We don't read during the day, we don't watch TV, we don't sit down during the day. You have to constantly be productive. So lots of us have learned that. Does that make it true? That's really up to you and the beliefs that you hold about, how you want to spend your days. I used to be like that for sure. I couldn't believe that I had friends who would sit down and read a book in the middle of the day, but it is truly life-changing and it takes some practice. So you just have to trust the process, because the first time you do it, it will feel weird. We all have moments where we're hyper-focused, but they only last for about 45 to 90 minutes, and then you need a break. But when we push through, we actually deplete our energy more, and we're less productive than if we just took that restoration, took that little break. So this actually took practice for me to just like sit, and with practice, if you ride it out, and you restore your energy, you will actually feel like getting up again and doing the thing. It's just that we rarely do that. So we don't know the two contrasting feelings. I love this quote from The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Is there something you should be doing but are not doing? Get up and do it now. Alternatively, completely accept your inactivity, laziness, or passivity at this moment. If that is your choice, go into it fully, enjoy it, be as lazy or as inactive as you can. If you go into it fully and consciously, you will soon come out of it, or maybe you won't. Either way, there is no inner conflict, no resistance, no negativity. I love that, because if there's something you should be doing, do it. But if that's not what you want to do, then don't conflict about it. Don't do it. Either do it or don't do it with your whole being, and be okay with it. Anytime that we're floundering or thinking of shoulds, that's an old story that someone has told us or taught us or comes from somewhere else. So that being said, often I'll ask people, when I was a massage therapist, what do you do for stress reduction? I watch TV. Watching TV is actually not a restorative activity because it's very passive, but like not in a good restorative way. It's more numbing. This is not to like sound elitist. I love TV, but studies have shown that actually it's only enjoyable and rewarding for us for, I think, like a couple of hours. And then after that, it's just completely numbing. It no longer brings us any joy, even at a brain and hormone level. So binge watching TV is actually more of like a numbing or avoidance activity than a restorative activity. Same with playing video games, scrolling social media, and watching the news. Because those are nothing is, your brain doesn't have to work like it does when it's reading a book. And you don't have to, there's no need for you to relax. It's just avoidance, just numbing. Those things are not bad. And, if they feel good to you, you should do them. But again, with an intention, not out of avoidance because you're so drained that that's all that you can do, because that's a signal. So for me personally, my restorative activities are napping. I come from a long line of nappers. My mom, who's like the most hardworking, productive person ever, has had daily power naps my entire life, as her mom did as well. And I do it too. And I have the benefit, because I'm in work for myself, I schedule it into my day, not like really, but I give myself a long lunch because I want to eat, I want to have a nap, and I want to walk my dog before I get back to work. That's my like midday restorative activities. I have my morning mindset in the morning. I read my self-development book. I do my journaling. I do my meditation. Ideally long before there is a toddler coming at me with some needs, and that is my anchor activity to start my day in transition. And sleeping for 8 hours, that is a not negotiable for me. I am a sleeper. It is not negotiable. And I think some people may say that that's selfish. I think that's just like the minimum of self-care. We need sleep to survive, and everyone is different, but that is a not negotiable restorative activity for me. So it's not something that I'm willing to sacrifice really for anything else, honestly. And so those are mostly my restorative activities: meditation, walking, my morning routine, and did I say napping? And sleeping. I had a new client start a couple weeks ago telling me how she was just so tired. She was done her work day, and we had just had a call, and it was like the middle of the afternoon, and she was saying she's so tired. And I was like, take a nap. And she was like, oh, I can't do that. And I was like, why? Like, who says? And she's like, who does that? And I was like, I do all the time. I take naps all the time. So that doesn't mean you have to become a napper specifically, but just start to identify, again, what drains your energy, what restores your energy, and then the stories you have about like what is productive and what is not, and just starting to examine like where those came from. The benefit of being an adult is we get to decide. Like, I decide that I'm a person who sleeps and I'm a napper, and so you can decide that for yourself. Whatever feels really good to you. So start to plan some strategic downtime, and just be aware of the busy trap. I was just talking to my friend Andrew about this. Is your self-worth connected to being busy and productive? Like, productive is a good thing, but productive for the sake of telling us that we are then worthy it's a bit of a trap. So to avoid the busy trap, give yourself this strategic downtime that is not negotiable, even if it's just the sleep. So this could include boundaries around work hours, guilt-free naps. It could be bigger. It could be like hotel nights, boundaries around work, family, etc. So that's all I got for you guys. I just really wanted to address energy management because, again, I'm constantly hearing depletion, and often I can tell that it is rooted in energy management. So let me know if how this lands for you, if any of it makes sense, if you are aware of this in yourself. Let me know what your grounding activities, your anchor activities are, what is really, really restorative for you, and something that you're going to implement as a result of this. And have a wonderful day.